but I would say no. I do know the ghost program can be rewritten. Anything can get upgraded and modified, and never underestimate the power of the superconscious mind. I am not convinced. Okay, I'm switching gears here. Okay. I know the intricate wiring in the body and how the technology adapts onto the nerves and cells. What test subjects need to realize is even though they have additional devices or implants, they as a consciousness and or soul spirit will still reside in the vessel. They are the landlords and need to set boundaries and rules which teach the programs how to comply. If these signals are satellite driven, which some are, then they can be destroyed when the satellite is destroyed. Most of these satellites have black box data buried in underground bases, which means there is a backup system, yet it is my sense that backup system has a delay time long enough for the target to permanently escape the tracking signal. Metals are another form of deflection which could be of assistance in debugging the body. Developing a suit of metal is perhaps a drastic measure, yet I see it like an alien visitor with a silver metal suit. They use these suits to block signals, as they are highly telepathic, hence something to ponder. And materials are important. Also, monoatomic gold, and those are really good for smoothing out the neural circuitry. How do you get out of the false matrix? You opt out. There is a subhuman class attempting to clone and copy brain templates to be stored in an underground area. These templates are based on conscious and subconscious brainwave mapping, yet are not based on consciousness. The soul is the firewall beyond any type of psychotronic assault or mind hack. I can guarantee that. While the covert subhuman class has spent decades mapping and attacking innocent targets' brainwaves, the universe has been downloading true celestial archives of data which cannot be read by their mind hackers or so-called advanced communication systems operators or anyone in underground areas. Insofar as precogs go, if they could really see the future, they would not have misused the technology to begin with. They have zero connection to the source beyond the source. They are a byproduct of their false belief systems, which is nothing but a cancer and disease to any species. This planet is a sentient intelligence. They have and are not able to read this ascended machine design which speaks to other planets beyond the known universe. Once again, their own mental conditioning and brainwashing has limited their evolution. They are extinct yet do not realize it. One thing to be said, before all these war game-oriented intelligence thugs, there was a species of which used natural telepathy. Every bit of information they have acquired is due to the mapping of true clairvoyant minds who operate beyond the linear deception of mankind. Hence, these units are not powerful. They are nothing but copycats competing against a universe of which they are not part of by choice. They have not developed anything special. They have been attacking and assaulting the minds of targets to acquire their data, which is flawed like them. Let me conclude these areas are compromised by their own mind conditioning programs and will never break free from their personal traps. Why download a life form into their version when one can have infinite design in the full light universe? They are amateurs. By the way, the real landlords have not returned to this blue world just yet. They should be very afraid when they do. The soul is the firewall against a mind hacked without a doubt. These covert areas assume too much and know too little. They are attacking off-world races and not just what they thought to be human. Human is a word from a false collective that never existed. There's no such thing. The mind is holographic, multidimensional, and beyond what these covert intelligence areas can comprehend. It is naturally attuned to universal harmonics, which are based on an intelligent energy from a sentient universe. These covert areas miss significant keys in order to understand how the multiversal mind actually works. It is beyond their range of thinking and the scale of their frequencies of control, which is their weakness in the scheme of things. The holographic mind knows how to reboot and reset using the universal blueprint of the celestial DNA overtones. This cannot be cloned or copied by covert areas. This is the true firewall beyond the tortuous avenues these areas misuse their so-called technology in. If it was not for a true telepath to begin with, they would not be able to synthesize telepathy in any form. Basically, their technology is a poor man's version and an imitation of one's true celestial design and life internal merged with the full light universal collective. All illnesses are created by frequency, and all cures are created by frequency. The door swings both ways. There is always an ebb and flow, which means if it or they can attack us, we can deflect and counter them by a more powerful means. The cure is within the oscillating cells and atoms of the divine blueprint in one's atomic structure, zero-point energy, and photon transmissions. I am also a firm believer in radionic transmissions, which I feel is able to broadcast remote-controlled electromagnetic field attacks and pollutants or mind hacks. I have used this technology in the past and have had great success in noticing my health improve from any dirty electricity as well as remote broadcasts. Rife machines and Tesla coil transmissions are a great way to detox a subject on a cellular level, yet will not remove the neural brain link communications. It will, however, fortify the body and raise the vibratory rate to a level where the communication system is more challenged, and after a while will create a warp and hole in the transmission of attack. We basically wear them down by a broadcast the same way they try to wear their target down, the only difference being we do not waste time with a dialogue. We just broadcast it out through frequency transmissions. This will cut out any entanglement between hive minds and handlers. Everything is vibration and light harmonic. It is a universal gift. The cells know how to harmonize with upper dimensional grid works and always have. They are in resonance with the universe and always will be. No psychotronic war game can change that. One's true template is anchored in the full light universe. There are two Akashics, the one written by mankind based on a false collective and database and entities, and the full light universe, which is based on cellular and celestial heritage and DNA, which goes beyond the mankind's petri dish of observation room. Once again, I would like to cover a few little solutions here. The main reason I'm alive today is because I remained strong, took the helm, did the research, and recoded and rewrote the communication system with my telepathic mind. Simply stated, I rewrote the program as a meta-programmer. Covert assault programs can be extremely damaging on all levels of a target's body, mind, and soul. This is the most lethal of all covert weapons. It can create life or take it away. It is mankind's virtual God toy and God helmet. The fact of the matter is the majority of mainstream cannot grasp this technology exists, let alone how it is being deployed and used. Disinformation is everywhere, even in alternative media. I have seen it, and it's disgusting. And the global governments will never expose something which they are benefiting from. Educating those who are willing to learn is critical. Those who are targeted either meet with an untimely death or become so dysfunctional by the psychotronic programs they lose their internal compass and reside in altars created by their handlers the whole time, thinking they are in control. This is something which needs to be nulled out, so the host allows more of his or her own higher self-design and personality to integrate in. This takes mental discipline on behalf of the subject at hand. If one becomes a target, one has to remain as a sacred witness to the covert design and learn how to shadow one's own behavior and self. The target needs to learn how to stalk oneself. The target should observe the programs running, yet do not associate them with you, as I can guarantee they are not. They are programs loaded with virtual scenes, false realities, sensations, memories, and a handler's special effects. This is where the rabbit hole is formed, and how a target gets sucked into a permanent vacuum of false realities. We are multidimensional beings, and with this design comes a unique celestial machine. A celestial machine the covert underground love to map and interface for experimentation and for cataloging in their underground databases. What people must realize is all life is frequency with a unique vibrational signature and harmonic. Each DNA template has a unique vibrational signature and frequency. Everything associated with verbal communication right down to emotional response and feeling is a program which can be mapped and interfaced onto a communication system underground to be used as a weapon against the target via handler feedback. I was well fortified before they plugged me into their communication system back in 2004, which gave me the advantage. I was able to navigate as a spy bird to some degree and see the illusions for what they were. Nonetheless, I was tortured for not complying with their version of a false reality by psychotronic weapons remotely, yet I kept pushing through and ascending out of it. These tactical assault projects are an embarrassment to this country and the world. When I think of how many lives have been destroyed at the hands of this project, or these types of projects, it is truly staggering and simply stated an inexcusable crime of war. Technology is only as wise as those using it. Currently, these thugs and monsters in the machine's false reality matrix are misusing technology at its worst. And let me also say, or worst rather, it is not the machine that's the problem, it's the misuse of technology. Machines are great. Synthetic telepathy, there's nothing wrong with that. It is the people misusing the technology to drive a target to do something drastic and basically mind control. It's completely mind control. Now we can deflect these assaults and we'll create a program to repair what damage has been done. Unfortunately, many lives have been taken. The last thing anyone wants to see is another statistic at the hands of covert assault technology. I will caution, anyone who thinks you can repair a broken target through a psychological session or assessment is in for a huge surprise. You will only be feeding the illusions and not dealing with the cause itself, which is technology and the misuse of. Words will become meaningless and will be a bleed-through effect of altar after altar, playing with the psychologist's mind during the session. I call these projects electronic possession to some degree, filled with tricksters and mind games, feeding off the belief system of the target. These projects must be treated the way they were created, by machine interface, frequency modulation, and transmissions. Once again, Tesla coils, photon sound beams, radionics, rife are all useful tools in the redirection and subtle broadcasting of the attack. Knowing oneself is also key in repairing the holographic grid in mind. Set your boundaries up and do not take responsibility for other people's stuff. This includes psychotronic harassment. And once again, realize that everybody on this planet is being controlled there's some sort of mind control, whether it's subliminal, it doesn't matter. I mean, there's always a form of mind control going on the planet. What you need to realize, this is an extra tool for you. It is information based on what I went through as a test pilot with covert technology and synthetic telepathy. And it was a very dark corridor and a very dark passage in my life, which lasted a very long time. It took my life away, it zeroed it out, and I had to basically redesign my life again, which is not an easy thing to do at my age right now. I don't have any animosity towards my handler. I don't have any animosity towards the people who initiated this assault. I feel like they were being programmed as well to some degree. However, I felt really guided to make sure that I presented the data accordingly, because I have broken down the technology better than anyone has ever broken this technology down. Reason being is I'm a true test pilot for the communication system, and a lot of the people out there you'll see at these summits or at these conventions where they come out and say they're super soldiers or this and that, they're not test pilots like I was. They do not have the experience I do, which is one of the reasons I put this information out. So I hope that you appreciate this data. Once again, this was done by me. I presented this data. This is copywritten by me. This is my information. And I presented this data at the Super Soldier Summit 2 back in May of 2013 in Nevada, in Henderson, Nevada, as an expert presenter. So if you are interested in this material, if you're interested in any more of this information, I have books out. Check out my website, Night Shadow Anomaly Detectives. I have a radio show. And I will tell you also, at the time I introduced this information, I realized that the masses are just not capable of comprehending this data, and it's almost a disservice sometimes to disclose information so technical to people that are so not awake. And that goes for people in the community of alternative media as well, because let me tell you, they're not all 100% accepting of anything, and I'm fortunate for them because they're not the test pilots I am. So I have the correct data, and I will not negotiate this technology. I understand it very, very well. But I will tell you, be careful of who you work with out there. If you are a subject, if you have been targeted, don't just go to any healer who thinks they can clear your energy field. Use the technology, work with technology first. Everything else is a program. And people can play mind games, and you don't want to get wrapped up in that. Okay, well, that's about it. Today is November 5th in 2013. I just wanted to make sure I have this out there for you guys so everyone can appreciate the information. Hopefully it'll process for them and they'll be able to understand some of this technology a little bit better. I'm hearing a lot of people out there talking about mind control and scalar weapons and this and that. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. So one of the reasons I'm doing this is because I'm fed up listening to people who don't know what they're talking about. And the reason they don't know, and like I said before, is because they are not test pilots for the technology I am. Okay? All right. Well, thank you for listening, and may you have a happy life without any interference from false realities or matrices.